This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Daoulas Brothers Construction.
Good morning, Lynners and all those watching. Welcome to the LCTV News and the start of a new month. Celebrations dominated events this week, with the beginning of Pride Month and another year of Final Fridays. In contrast, headlines were full of future developments, from the waterfront to the announcement of additional state grants. Here's the news for Friday, June 7th, 2024. On June 5th, World Environment Day, Salem Mayor Dominic Pangalo announced the formation of the Massachusetts Coastal Community Alliance. Comprised of 20 communities, including Lynn, they represent over 500,000 residents and hundreds of miles of coastline. The purpose of the alliance is to provide a place where local leaders can share information and learn from others who also serve coastal communities. Perfect timing, too, as the Commonwealth has just begun their new Resilient Coasts initiative. Through this collaboration, members can coordinate plans, identify funding opportunities to benefit coastal areas, and learn from one another about successful practices to increase coastal resiliency. Several leaders commented on the importance of collaboration when combating issues such as rising sea levels, increased storms, and flooding. Final Fridays from the Lynn Museum are back. Every month from May to September, there will be a celebration at Frederick Douglass Park, varying in theme. This year, they are going all out, as shown by the kickoff event, Spoken Soul, where artists performed their mediums for an eager audience.
So I need y'all to do me a favor and make some noise for Lena.
Love's a hell of a drug that I don't think I can go for no more.
We are here at Final Fridays, and we are kicking off the year with Spoken Soul. Final Fridays is a series of free arts and culture events hosted by the Lynn Museum. This year with Final Fridays, I wanted to do it a little bit differently. I think with the arts and culture scene here in Lynn and the way how it's elevated over the past 5 years, I've noticed that a lot of the younger generation has excelled so much in their talents and their history in the making, and I wanted to make sure that we capture that. And today here at Spoken Soul, we're going to be capturing the importance of performance art and how important it is to us as individuals and like the impact it has on the soul.
Trying to move in silence, but clearly never very subtle. Hop on the scene, you better prepare for trouble. Hit you so hard that you end up seeing double. Coming full force, hit to burst your bubble. This right here takes a certain dedication. Never too early to go and start a celebration. Finger on the trigger, not known for hesitation. Child of God, but no visitation. One day I'ma leave this earth. That's why I put me first. Work for what I deserve till I end up in the dirt.
Tonight is setting the pace for what else we have stored for Final Fridays. We really want to go all in, and we want to treat it in a way that we've never treated before. Like I said, today we're focusing on performance art. Next month we're doing a fashion show. In July we're going to bring it back, Graffiti Get Down. We really want to bring a new, young vibe to it. Because like I said, we're history in the making, so we might as well start capturing it from now, right?
The Lynn Tech chapter of SkillsUSA is headed to Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia on June 24th. The Lynn School Committee unanimously voted to give the chapter this grant, allowing them to attend the National SkillsUSA competition, after hearing a presentation from Lynn Tech members about their project on May 30th. Titled The Family Project, the first phase was a Christmas party for 50 families, where each parent received a sack containing 10 toys for each child. The second phase took place earlier this year, when the team used 10 family-related activities, including painting coffee tables, decorating cookies, and creating portraits to enhance family bonds. Mayor Nicholson made a motion to approve, which passed unanimously at the school committee meeting. First weekend of June, and events are in full swing all across the city. The Lynn Police and Fire Departments teamed up, hosting the 5th annual Police and Fire Family Fun Day, highlighted by a 5K through Lynn Woods, one of 4 5Ks that are part of the Shoe City series. Families and kids alike were all smiles.
My name is Dan Dulong. I'm a lieutenant on the Lynn Fire Department. So we've been hosting this event for 7 years. We've had 2 cancellations due to COVID and last year due to weather. We've moved it to the month of June and put it in with the Shoe City Series 5Ks that have been going on in the city of Lynn. And this year we got a beautiful day and a great turnout. Hopefully continue this going into the future. The main purpose of this is to come together as the police and fire departments with friends and families and host an event up here in Lynn Woods for our friends and families and all the people in the community. Just come out, see this area, just have a fun day, just relax, So the main thing is all these bouncy houses. That's the big draw for all the kids. And we do the 5K run out through the woods that Bill Mullen, who does the Wednesday races up here for the last 50 years, sets up. We have a couple of props over here that we put together for the kids, a little squirt house, some things with water, and then the police do a wonderful job every year coming up and representing and passing out all sorts of fun goods for the kids. You know what? Really, it's just coming together as a community, and just using everything that the city has to offer us, coming out here and just enjoying everything that's around us.
From there, we travel back to Frederick Douglass Park for Youth Pride, kicking off a month of LGBTQ+ events. Hosted by United Lynn Pride, allowing the younger generation a space where they are accepted and included.
Hi, I'm Christian Recinos. I am the President Executive Director of United Lynn Pride, and we are at the Youth Pride event. It's winding down right now, but it's just an opportunity for the young people in the city of Lynn to come out, celebrate the LGBTQ+ community. For the youth who are members of the LGBTQ+ community, it's a space for them to come, feel safe, feel welcomed, feel loved. We've got a number of amazing resource tables here from a lot of different organizations around the city. Earlier, we had some performances from some youth groups in the city, the band Shy, the dance troupe ITM in the Making, the dance troupe Cultura Latina Dance Academy. And yeah, it's just an opportunity to come out here, have a good time. It's a nice day, it's good weather. And we're kicking off Pride Month. It's June 1st. It's the first event of many that we're going to be hosting this week. Well, this month, and hopefully into the future. We have our museum exhibit that's opening up next week. We're going to have the flag raising towards the end of the month, a paint night, a Zumba-thon, a lot of amazing, great events. I hope that people are able to come out, show their support, and have a great Pride.
The Healy-Driscoll administration has announced the launch of a new Massachusetts Summer Child Nutrition Program. Following the expiration of the summer pandemic EBT, this new program allocates $70 million in funding, providing access to food for 600,000 students and their families during the summer months. Low-income families with school-age children will be eligible for financial assistance buying groceries. Contrary to popular belief, hunger is actually worse in the summer, as children do not have access to school meals. According to Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, quote, "This child nutrition program is a big win because it makes sure children have access to healthy meals throughout the summer months when we know families' food costs increase. It also supports our local businesses, grocery stores, corner stores, and farmers," end quote. Eligible households will receive a payment of $120 per child between July and September, equaling an additional $40 per month. Those already enrolled in SNAP, temporary assistance for needy families, or some other Mass Health plan will be automatically enrolled. Families who are not can apply directly on DTA Connect between July 15th and September 7th. Through a Rainbow Lens unveiled their exhibit at the Lynn Museum this past Wednesday the 5th. This is one of many LGBTQ+ events being put on during Pride Month. Running from now until October, it chronicles a century of LGBTQ+ history in Lynn through interviews, memorabilia, and photographs. The night wrapped up with a panel discussion from several members of the project team.
So it was just about a year ago that United Lynn Pride was on a Zoom call planning the Pride activities for 2023, and two people in that meeting spoke up, and they said somebody should really write the LGBTQ history of Lynn for future generations. We reached out to the LGBTQ community in Lynn for people to be interviewed on camera, and I want to thank the 25 amazing storytellers that we interviewed.
People have come forward to us to offer the most personal and intimate details of their lives.
Oh God, I got beat up, I got into a coma, I got beat up into a coma for a month, for a year, honey, and after I woke up, I just kept going. This is me, I'm not gonna let myself go, but it's my life. I'm gonna live it, I'm gonna enjoy myself. This is me. I'm not gonna change anything about it, okay? You don't like me, you don't like me, you do.
So next we reached out to the LGBT community for photos and t-shirts and flyers and objects, and I want to thank the 32 generous people who contributed over 700 items, mostly photographs.
The world Gron refers to centered largely around gay bars, which she describes as, quote, "the only public expression of gay culture that I could find in a closeted world." Through a Rainbow Lens project was asked so many times why we did so many interviews and wrote and collected so much material from bar culture in Lynn in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. The answer to that is bar culture was it. That was our culture. LGBTQ+ culture was in the bars.
Yeah, France was, France for me was an escape. And to be with, what I considered at the time and family.
As of May 25th, the Lynn Ferry will be running on weekends for the first time in its history. Every Saturday, ferries will begin running at 8 a.m. from Blossom Street Pier, with the final ferry of the day departing Boston at 8:25 p.m. Full fares are $7 for one way, while reduced fares are $3.50. Children 11 and under ride for free. Paper tickets, commuter boat passes, commuter rail zone 2 passes, and M7s are all acceptable forms of payment. On deck, the sports update. Despite a well-fought battle, Lynn Tech baseball bowed out of the playoffs, falling 2-1 to West Bridgewater. A scoreless game through 3, the 37th-ranked Tigers struck first in the 4th off an RBI single by Riley Driscoll. However, the 28th-seeded Wildcats would fight back, scoring on a pass ball in the 5th before knocking in the go-ahead run off a squeeze play in the 6th. Their volleyball team was blanked by Doherty Memorial 3-0 on the first. 41st seeded Tech registered their first ever state tournament victory on the 31st, but were unable to overcome the 9th-ranked team in Division II play. In their second season, number 19 Classical Volleyball advanced to the round of 16, stunning 14th-ranked Fitchburg in 5 sets over the weekend. It was tight, with neither team winning a set by more than 4 points, including the decider 16-14 in favor of Classical. Leading the charge was Josh Gonzalez with 6 blocks, 2 digs, and 14 kills. This is where the road would end, however, as the Rams were swept by 3rd-ranked Wayland in the Sweet 16. Rams softball saw their season come to a close 13-4 to Gowan. It was close for most of the game, but Gowan broke free, scoring 8 times in the 6th. Ram Lauren Wilson did finish her high school career in style, with 2 stolen bases, 2 hits, and an RBI. For St. Mary's, both their baseball and softball teams advanced, shutting out their opponents. First up, the 2nd-ranked boys punched their ticket to the Sweet 16, defeating 34th-ranked Pawtucket 5-0. Led by Josh Downey going 6 innings while only allowing 4 hits and doubling up on strikeouts with 8. Michael DeMaine helped his pitcher, going 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. They had to fight for everything, hosting 18th-ranked Norwell. The visitors went out to an early 2-0 lead and were threatening to score again in the second, but Matt Lewis was put in for relief, retiring the side with 2 strikeouts. In 4 1/3 innings of work, he would allow only 2 hits and strike out 3 more. The Spartans then fought back, going ahead in the bottom of the second. St. Mary's scored 3 more in the third, 2 off an RBI single from Kylie Donnie, stretching their lead to 6-2. Norwell scored twice in the 6th, but closer Jacob Peterson came in and shut the door, advancing the Spartans to the Elite 8. The girls handled Tri-County in dominant fashion 11-0. And what has quickly become a theme this year, Aliza Creen Oviedo threw another complete game shutout. Recurring leaders in offense included Brooke Maloney going 2 for 3 with 3 runs, and Gabby Marchell adding on 2 runs and 3 RBIs. The number 5 seeded Spartans knocked off Nipmuc 10-2 in the Sweet 16. Despite the score, it was a 2-1 game until the 6th. St. Mary's struck first off a Marchell RBI single in the 1st. Nipmuc had a homer in the 4th, but a Maloney triple in the 5th put the Spartans back on top. An 8-run 6th inning dashed any hope of a comeback for the visitors. Overall, 6 Spartans recorded an RBI. The Sox are holding steady right at .500. Their pitching has faltered recently, dropping to 5th in the league when they had been leading for the first month of the season. Most recently, they split a 2-game series with the Atlanta Braves, dropping the first game 8-3 before grabbing the closer in a 9-0 shutout. In search of their 18th banner, the Celtics picked up right where they left off 9 days ago, taking Game 1 of the NBA Finals 107-89 versus the Dallas Mavericks in front of an electric TD Garden crowd. Boston was firing on all cylinders, leading to a 37-20 lead by the end of 1 and a 29-point advantage in the second period. Dallas did cut it to 8 in the third, but that is as close as they would get, with the Celtics going on another run to build up and retain a 20-point lead the rest of the game. The highlight, however, was the return of Kristaps Porzingis for Boston. The 7'2" center has not played for 38 days, but you'd never know based on his stats. In addition to scoring 20 points, the highlight being a 3-pointer from 30 feet, he blocked 3 Maverick shots, including what should have been an easy breakaway dunk. Boston's top 6 all scored in double figures, led by Jaylen Brown, who was everywhere, driving to the basket and shredding the defense. Jason Tatum had a quieter game with 16 points, but you can't argue with 11 rebounds. They now travel to Dallas for Game 2 on the 9th. On a unique Lowdown, members from 3 different organizations joined together to discuss their selection as 2024 Changemakers. Run by the Essex County Community Foundation, Changemakers are groups of creative leaders who participate in 8-month networking and leadership training programs. 3 LynnArts were part of the 2024 group. Here's more of what they had to say. Hello and welcome to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today I'm here with 3 members from the 2024 ECCF Changemakers, all from Lynn. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the invitation.
Of course. Now, for anyone who maybe doesn't know that much about the program, would you be able to provide a little bit of background on it? Like the program itself?
Sure, I can take a stab at it. So the Changemakers group is a group of individuals on the North Shore who do different community and arts things. And it's basically bringing everyone together so that we have access to everyone else's brain power. You'd be amazed at a problem that you have or I would have, and there'd be someone in the room with an answer. So there's a group of about 20 of us from different towns, and we meet once a month for, I think it's 8 months. And we have access to a lot of expertise, but also it's also an opportunity to share frustrations that you have. And you'll find that you're not the only one, that a lot of people have experienced something very similar, but then they also share how they got out of it. So it's a great learning experience.
A great opportunity to kind of share and swap resources with other
Correct.
people or situations. And could you all go through and say a little bit about how you got involved and what organization you're a part of that is kind of connected to it?
Sure. Anyone want to start?
I can take a stab at this part as well. I think I'm getting a little bit different take on it than you are. A little bit. One of the things that I'm getting out of it, I'm sure you are too, is that we're writing a kind of a statement of purpose, a personal statement that kind of sums up what it is we're doing personally and professionally, and looking at all of the things that it is we do on a personal level, on a community level, on a cultural level, and then even on a world level. And I think Daniel, what's her name? Her last name is Codes Connor, is one of the lead organizers, along with Karen Ristubin. And between the two of them, they have really given us some resources to lead us into some of that self-reflection piece and explore those sorts of issues with a group of like minds and people who are really leading these organizations around Essex County. And this is the 4th year of Changemakers. I've personally been following the development of Changemakers since the initiation, and I was like, this is my year. This is my year to be a changemaker. And so I'm really excited to be a changemaker this year.
And Christian, I'll start with you. You're a few months into it now, and I'll go down the line. How has the experience been so far? What stood out to you?
I think it's been good so far. I think it's a good combination of, as Annette and Sunil just explained, it's a combination of resource sharing, leadership development program. It is also important, I think, to note that, there is a stipend that comes with it, development of purpose. That stipend is going to be like $1,000 at the completion of the program. Okay. And it's something they want us to utilize towards advancing whatever organization we're leading, which I know you had said earlier. So I'm personally in the Changemakers program, both as a representative of United Lynn Pride, the nonprofit here in the city, as well as the chair of the Cultural Council. And I think overall it's been a great experience. I think we've had maybe 2 or 3 meetings so far. The program's going to go through until about October. And yeah, it's been great to meet a bunch of individuals, not just from Lynn, as it's being facilitated by Essex County. Lynn, I grew up in Lynn. I've known a lot about the city itself. I like getting that larger vantage point of what's going on around the county. People from Lawrence, Methuen, Marblehead, etc.
Great. Same question.
Describing how I came to CCI. So I'm part of the Summer Arts Festival here in Lynn. I help organize that. My link to ECCF was they were one of the sponsors for year 1. Okay. And the Creative Collective got me in touch. And without that backing, year 1 would have been a neighborhood, something or the other. Our budget was $1,100, and they boosted it up, so it became a citywide event. But so we have only met a few times, but going on back to what Annette said, these last few meetings, what I've done is a lot of self-reflection, what's important to me. It's amazing how when ideas get bounced back to you, it makes you look at it differently or from a different angle. And what I look at is, sustainability. Yeah, some of the things are great, but it might have cost too much in terms of manpower. And it was very obviously pointed out to me, the last one-on-one I had, which I wasn't even aware of, was that I was taking on too much, but it was my lack of belief that someone else could do it. And in a way, I was taking something away from someone, an opportunity away from other people. And in my mind, I was like, well, if I don't do it, it won't get done. That's not true. And it was, when it was pointed out to me, I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. So it's a lot of that. And my project has to do with trying to see a feasibility study on what it would take to get the city of Lynn's municipality to net zero. So what would it cost to have it come from renewables? What's the return on investment? At what point do we reach equality where what the money is invested gets paid back, and then after that? And I know it may not be an arts and culture thing, but it is important. And also, I am going to tie into it that any savings, that 10% of it goes to the arts community in Lynn. So yeah, it's something really exciting. I've done a rough study, and I think it is feasible, but I will require buy-in from the council and such. So.
And then, how's it affected you?
Yeah, I'm going to run with that. I find it really interesting that you're finding the same sort of, if you step back, it creates what I'm calling a vacuum, where other people will naturally kind of fill in that void. And like giving the opportunity to others to do, some of the work. And it is such a joy to do the work. And I'm relating to that at, Gala, the galleries at LynnArts. It's a project that has been my pride and joy. I mean, founding it and between 2018, 2019, and keeping it going and making sure that everything gets done from, hanging stuff on the walls to social media to, having a hand in everything, to making sure the floors get washed. And I've gotten to a point, especially with this Changemakers program, like where I'm asking myself the questions of, where does my creative practice sit? And so I'm going a little bit more towards my own painting studio practice. And I'm finding that there is this contingent of artists who are coming in to do all of the work that needs to be done. And it's creating a better gallery, a better experience. And those artists who are coming in are getting more out of it than if I would tightly control everything. It's exciting.
It does. It sounds like a really exciting experience. You're really getting all of this self-reflection. And I know you're only a few meetings in, but when you think about it, looking towards the future, what do you really hope to learn and take out of this experience, ultimately?
Anyone? Well, can I jump in? I know I'm speaking more than my share, but I apologize. So what I'm hoping for is collaboration. Once this program is over, that you will develop these relationships, friendships with a lot of the participants and the people running the show. So a good example is at the Arts Festival, we have never had any spoken word or acting. And there's a gentleman from Newburyport who I connected with, and he has like a 5-person troupe, but they're looking at coming and maybe for an hour or half an hour, act something out. Maybe it's funny, but it'll be something different, and that would be an awesome addition to a festival.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I hope that it's a lot of sharing of knowledge. When I was first interviewed for the Changemakers program, I felt a little bit reticent because I was like, oh, well, I'm already participating in all of these groups. I don't want to take a spot from if there were potentially any applicants who might have been younger, newer, who might benefit more from the program. But in that process, they told me like, oh, well, we need people from, at all different levels in like their leadership or in their creative journeys. So as much as I'm hoping, similar to Sunil, to take away like, connections and share ideas, I'm hoping that with all the different experiences and roles that I have, that I can also give back to all of those other people participating in the program. And similar to like a statement I made earlier, it's good for me to get my head a little bit outside of Lynn, learn more about what's happening in the entire county. Even though it's not Western Mass, I feel like anything that's like to the left of Lynn, I'm like, that's Western Mass. I don't know what.
I have a friend who says anything west of 128 is Iowa.
Great. And do you want to answer too, Annette?
I guess the thing that has startled me is that it has been such a, I'm going to use the word liminal, meaning that it's such a space that I didn't expect, that the Changemakers has opened things up, and any expectations that I had were completely blown out of the water. And so once that sort of thing happens in a group experience like this, I kind of have to go with whatever is happening and see what happens, And I know for a fact right now, this far into it, I need to paint more. I need to be either in my studio or out in the wild with my portable easel, painting and creating, and those sorts of things nurture and feed my soul, my inner being. And I know that I need to do those things before doing what I had been doing, which is helping other people feed their creative practices. And then we'll see. I mean, this is 3 months in. What's going to happen by November? I mean, we'll see. I'm excited, and I'm willing to just go with it and see where the process takes me and us.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. And I know I have to wrap up in a moment. It always feels so fast when we're talking about all these things. But thank you for really sharing these reflections and your experience. And I'm wicked excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Next up, the community calendar. First up is the Juneteenth flag raising, taking place at City Hall from 6 to 7 p.m. On June 11th, enjoy performances of spoken word as well as the Black National Anthem. English ROTC will raise the flag, and red velvet cupcakes will be provided. The next day, the 12th, Kayak and Sail Lynn will have their second annual rowboat launch at 368 Blossom Street Extension. Sponsored by the Brickyard Collaborative, and community boat building participants built their own rowboats from scratch and can now take them for a spin on the ocean. The City of Lynn is hosting a summer kickoff event on the 15th from 2 to 6 p.m. at Manning Field. A perfect way to celebrate, this event is free to the public and will have a whole host of activities, from pony rides to face painting and musical performances to city resource tables. Sensory-friendly activities will also be available. That wraps up another week of news here at LCTV. As always, stay up to date with these and all events happening in the city by following us on social media at Lynn Community Television. For our complete community calendar, videos on demand, and all episodes of the news, visit LynnTV.org. If you wish to focus on staff and member content, go to our channel on YouTube, Lynn Community Television. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Daoulas Brothers Construction.